Hello everyone, it's been a while since you heard me just yap and yap without a script. So this is going to be the top 10 best scenes in Arcane. And with these, I'm going to be judging these scenes on 3 categories: payoff, emotion, and implication. Basically past, present, future. Payoff is the payoff of any past building up to this current scene. Emotion is what you feel in the moment. And implication is what the viewers would think that this scene means for the future. So plot relevance. And these scenes are going to be weighted against each other. If I rate a scene like a 1 in payoff, that just means not like 1 out of 5 payoff in terms of all the scenes in Arcane, just with each other. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. My top 10 best scenes in Arcane. Number 10 is going to be Ekko versus Jinx. This has a payoff of 1, okay? Unfortunately, Ekko and Jinx never interact in Arcane. They don't say a single word to each other, except for this one scene here where Powder pops her head out looking at Ekko, but a lot of what we do get is within the enemy music video. So when it actually comes to Ekko versus Jinx, there's not any payoff because we're not expecting any interaction between the two. It's just something that happens. Emotion is going to be 3. Although emotion is a little weak because like we do understand what's going on, but we don't have any emotional investment that, oh, Ekko and Powder, they turned out to play a lot together as kids. A lot of the emotion does come from just the music and the stylistic impact, which is just sheer wonder watching this whole sequence. So yeah, implication is going to be 2. Not a lot happens because of this. Jinx gets injured. Jinx blows herself up, which goes to the Shimmer operation, which is important, but that also could have happened a lot of other ways. The 9th best scene in Arcane is going to be the introduction. This scene also has a payoff of 1 because, well, there's no payoff. This is the first scene in Arcane, okay? We just opened up this show and wow, all of a sudden there's war going on, Vander saving some kids. So just by the mere nature of how I am judging these scenes, introduction gets a 1 in payoff, but it's not that big of a deal. Emotion is going to be 3.5, similar to Ekko vs Jinx, where we don't have that much investment going into the scene, but we do get a whole narrative going on. We get Vander seeing the girls cry, losing their families, giving up ward, and taking them home. It is heartfelt, especially with the music in the background. And the implication of this scene is going to be a 5, because this sets up everything we know about Piltover and Zaun, especially with the last shot of Vi just staring angrily at Piltover. We're like, damn. Where is this series going to go? So the beginning flashback of Arcane is going to be the 9th best scene in Arcane. Number 8 is going to be Vander fights. Honestly, this scene has a payoff of 2.5 because even though we know Vander is a pacifist, he gave up the fists in the very first scene of Arcane. It's not something we've been looking forward to the whole series. We're like, oh, when is Vander going to fight? When is Vander going to fight for the lanes? Maybe that's something some viewers wanted when the tension in the lanes were just rising episode after episode throughout the first act, and people just want to see what Vander could do. Like, we know he's strong. He's probably going to be the strongest person in the Undercity. We understand that. Probably just going to be a more matured version of Vi, so we already know what that kind of looks like. So there's not that much payoff that, oh, wow, Vander is good at fighting. Who would have guessed that? So that's why it ranks kind of low. Emotion is going to be a 4, just because in this part of the story, shit is just going down. We need some pillar of order just to like make sure that our main characters get out safe, that good things are happening, and Vander coming out is just a power moment. It just feels so good seeing the Chad walk out, protect his kids, destroying all of Silco's cronies, 1v1ing the Shimmer monster. It just feels so good. Choreography is great, not too flashy, just a really grounded fight that just looks amazing. And implication is 3 because this is how Vander takes Shimmer, gets injured, and maybe turns into Warwick in the future. We're kind of unsure how that goes, but he saves Vi, which is pretty important. And plot relevance-wise, he gets one last interaction with Silco, and that kind of just wraps up Vander's entire character arc as of now. So, number 8. And it's crazy how good Arcane scenes are. Like, Vander fighting in like any other show would be like top 1 scenes. It'd be like Walter White doing something cool, but no, it's like 8 out of 10 in terms of Arcane scenes. There's just that many good scenes. Number 7, Silco talking to Vander statue. This scene has a tremendous payoff. We have Silco kind of killing Vander in episode 3, and throughout the whole series, he's just turning more and more into Vander, understanding that Vander was correct the whole time. Protecting the family is what mattered. The whole reason Silco came into power, the whole reason Savika supported him, how everyone supported him, the Chem Baron, because of his vision to turn the Undercity independent. When he finally gets a chance to do that, he struggles. That just makes him so much more human. Silco could be a mustache-twirling villain any day of the week in any other mediocre show. And yes, he does get complexity throughout the series, but Ted, Silco's entire defining feature is his Shimmer eye. That symbolizes his vision. His vision defines who he is, the actions that he does, and at the very last moment, he struggles, he stutters, he can't go through because he loves Jinx that much, and he talks to Vander. Vander, the completed character, The man sure of his ideals and steadfast in everything he does. Silco comes back to his brother. He killed because he thought he was wrong. Remember, Silco said we will show them all. He wanted to show Vander that he was correct, but in the end, Vander was the one that was correct. And Silco acknowledges that his entire identity is unraveling just because of Jinx. Just because of one girl that he was about to kill, that he took in that because it reminded him of himself. Tremendous payoff. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to do a 4 out of 5 for the payoff because it wasn't something thrown into our faces throughout the whole series. Oh, Silco's turning more into Vander. It's a slow progression, and all of a sudden, like bam, Silco gets hit with this opportunity and he just can't take it. Payoff of a 4. Emotion is a 3, even though I went on the whole spiel. In the moment's pretty short. The emotion isn't super intense because it's something slow, something we've been seeing throughout the series, and we can understand how this has come. At episode 9 in Arcane, we have all grown attached to Jinx. We probably wouldn't give her up for independence as well, even seeing how bad this day of the Undercity is. Yeah, emotion of 3. Implication of 2, because this doesn't do much. He just gets kidnapped by Jinx and killed like immediately after. But damn, what a great scene to humanize a villain. The 6th best scene in Arcane is Jinx lighting the flare. It's just super cathartic, just watching Jinx unleash all of her emotions, all her confliction. These past few years, she thought, oh, Silco is all I needed. I'm just gonna prove myself to him, get strong, and he'll take care of me, and I'll be accepted in the Undercity, and that is all I need. But the moment she sees Vi, hears that Vi is coming into town, she's just weighing all her options. Jinx looked at the Hex Gem that she's risking the entire Undercity to keep, to build a weapon for Silco's vision, or the flare just to return to normalcy. Jinx, throughout all of Arcane, has been trying to snuff out Powder, all of the weakness inside, but she just can't. She just chooses Vi and unleashes the flare. It's cathartic. I said that word a lot, but this is where Jinx truly embraces herself and what she wants. In contrast to episode 9, where Jinx takes the completely opposite route, doing what's best for Zon, what's best for her father's vision, not for herself. But in this scene, Jinx finally decides for herself something and takes her own, and that is, I want to see my sister, and she unleashes the flare. Payoff of 3.5, because after the time skip, Jinx wasn't that yearning to see Vi again. Emotion, 3.5, because we'll get much stronger emotions later, but implication is a lot, because it just adds more complexity to Jinx's character, her relationship with Vi, her relationship with Silco, and her purpose inside the overall narrative. This hurts! The 5th best scene in Arcane is gonna be Viktor running. Oh my god. Okay, if I could choose, I'd put Viktor running in number 1. You guys know how much I love Viktor, but the payoff for Viktor running is 4. Viktor, throughout all of post-time skip, has just been aching. His body is just crumbling. That's the whole reason why he went to Singe. He went to Singe because I understand now that I need to sacrifice everything if I just want to prolong life, just like you. It's a really human struggle. I think all of us, we've thought about death once we've faced death, whether that be family members, friends, whatever. It's something deeply impactful, and we can see how Viktor's able to go through these lengths. I mean, it's just taking drugs. Drugs isn't even that bad of a crime, I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, Viktor, he compromises his morals. The length he travels just to make up for his insecurity. You know, there's a lot of imposter syndrome with Viktor. Because he's from the Undercity, it really shafts him a lot in life. He has the intelligence rivaling Jace. He has the vision rivaling Mel. He has the charisma to rival Heimerdinger, but everywhere he's just stunted. He has no legacy, no invention, no memory within the city. Viktor basically thinks that only he will remember the life he's led. Yeah, sure, Jace is his friend, but come on, is Jace gonna remember Viktor? Especially when he's like spending nights with Mel every day. And outside of Viktor, outside of Jace, who else is there? So Viktor just wants to keep himself alive and restore himself to someone capable of doing the things he wants to do. That's why he wants to fix his body. But nothing will ever change the fact that he is a Zonite, that he is going to be inferior. And he runs and he screams because he's still gonna die in a few days. But maybe, just maybe, he could end his suffering all of the weight that he's been bearing on his mind. Emotion, 4 out of 5, just because again, it's extremely cathartic for Viktor in this moment. Finally conquers something that he has dealt with since birth. Implication is 3, because Viktor running, he kills Skye. Who cares about Skye? Okay. But yeah, Viktor running, 5th best scene in Arcane. I really wish I could put it higher, but I can't. Monkey Bomb, number 4. Yes, payoff is a 4, because all of Act 1, we've been just watching Powder fail, and she just wants one dub. Honestly, I think it's kind of blown out of proportion, because Powder building all of those machines in their hideout is really impressive, okay? I don't understand how she can call herself a failure after doing something like that, but I mean, I guess her inventions aren't useful when it actually comes to the practicality of it in battle, in crime, compared to like Vi's boxing skills, Milo's pickpocketing, Clagger's wall smashing skills. And after being looked down upon, not being able to prove herself for 3 whole episodes, the bomb finally works. And it fucking destroys everything! Emotion is a 5, just because the sheer amount of surprise. This is when Arcane changed. When you recommend Arcane to your friends, you're like, wait until episode 3, wait until episode 3, because this is when the show completely flips on its head. This ain't your ordinary animated show. This is when Arcane became Arcane. Things aren't gonna get a happy ending. We are gonna get deaths, we are gonna get blood, but we are gonna get bliss. And this is what Powder feels. And this is what motivates Powder to turn into Jinx. Just to recreate this feeling of accomplishment, this feeling of wonder. And this is the moment that defined Jinx and what Jinx wanted to be. Monkey Bomb, 4th best scene in Arcane. Coming up right after the bomb, it's gonna be the end sequence of Act 3. This is probably where all of us cried. Payoff of 5, just the ultimate culmination of Vi and Powder's relationship. Powder constantly being a failure, Vi being too protective of her sister. The monkey bomb scene in Arcane is like the dessert you get at the end of the meal. You know, you're like enjoying the show so far. The show looks amazing. Wow, I get some matcha ice cream. Let me eat that up. Everything is just wrapped up nicely. We got good show, good climax, good impact, good whatever. You thought that was an emotional climax? No, this is the emotional climax. Or Vi and Powder, they just fucking argued. Vi just tears into Powder, beats her ass. Like the monkey bomb was the dessert of the meal. And now this crying scene is when we get turned around and laid out and knocked into a coma out of pleasure. Like, goddamn, what a good night watching Arcane. And this is what cements Act 1 as just a prologue. How these two cities' conflict just stems from just these two sisters growing apart, just like their fathers did, just like what Vander tried to prevent. The worst thing about a show filled with parallels is that tragedy happens more than once. But that's what we like about Arcane. Number 3 best scene. The last two might be a bit obvious, but we're gonna have to go off this chart, okay? Second best scene is gonna be Jinx awakening. Jinx, I think, is the protagonist of Arcane. Okay, Vi in Act 1, she was already developed. She's good at boxing, we all know. But the actual hero's journey archetype that I've been talking about is actually Powder. Starts off trash. She got one success just to get that torn away from her. And then as Jinx, she just gets mental conflict after mental conflict. I want Jinx, I want my dad, I want the Hex Gem, I want friends, I want fulfillment, I want whatever. And then Powder dies because she killed Silco. And Silco tells her to embrace Jinx. So she embraces herself, even though that's not what she wants in her heart. What she wants in her heart is love, happiness. But just look at her eyes. They're empty. What is left? Jinx is who she is, and being Powder and getting Vi's love is just fake. And it's sad that the only person who loved Jinx for who she is just died. You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna be Jinx, and I'm gonna pick up that rocket. Payoff is 6, because it's just the ultimate culmination of Powder's transformation into Jinx. Emotion is 4, because it comes right off of Silco's death. In this moment, though it is riveting, we're gonna get a lot more emotion later. And the implication is just 6, because this is when Jinx truly embraced herself as the antagonist of the series. And I think it's time to talk about number 1. Jinx shooting the rocket is what brought all of you guys to my channel here. The way Arcane ended, okay, payoff is a 10. Payoff is a 10 just because we can see how just all the development in the story was just gearing towards this exact moment. Payoff is a 10. 10 out of 5, okay? Emotion is a 10 because I am still fucking making videos 2 years after this, okay? This is what makes Arcane linger in your mind. You just are thirsting for season 2. All of us carrying the hype train, loving Arcane, it's because of this scene. This scene wraps up everything in a nice tight bow and punches us in the face with that devilish cliffhanger, okay? Like, sure, when I first watched this scene, I wasn't crying like during episode 3, or I wasn't as hyped as when Viktor was running, but just the long-term emotion, all of that added up every day when season 2 coming out. What's gonna happen with the council? What's gonna happen to Piltover and Zon, Jinx and Vi? Emotion's a 10, okay? Perfect ending for the series, and implication 10. Okay, we are all excited for season 2. We all want it to come. Season 2 is gonna be better than season 1, if that even is possible. Jinx shooting the rocket is the best scene in Arcane. I don't think you can argue that. Wasn't it that one Goldstein guy who said always nail the 3rd act? Arcane did, even though it nailed the 1st and the 2nd act. But this is what defined the show and defined its future success and Riot's support forever. And this is why I'm probably never gonna stop uploading videos. Okay, I don't know about that part, but in the foreseeable future, man, I still have so much I want to talk about with Arcane, so whatever. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble for a while. I got pretty heated in this video just because, what can I say? I'm a pretty big fan of Arcane, if I do say so myself. But what do you guys think are the best scenes in Arcane? I would really like to know. Comment, like, do you guys like my voice? And I'll catch you guys in the next one, as always. Bye!